Hello, I'm Tony Ko, the host of TalkIT Global. OpenAI's ChatGPT, which has widely opened the era of generative AI, was announced in November 2022, using the GPT 3.5 version of the LLM. The more advanced GPT-4 LLM was announced in March 2023. But here, do you know which company was the first in the world to start developing a generative AI service based on GPT-4 LLM? Surprisingly, it was Khan Academy, an education NGO that created an AI tutoring assistant called Khanmigo based on OpenAI's LLM-4 since July 2022. Sal Khan, the founder of Khan Academy, which provides millions of students around the world with the opportunity to learn for free, was directly approached by OpenAI's Sam Altman. Why do you think that was?
In summer of 2022, Sam Altman and Greg Brockman, they're the CEO and president of OpenAI, they sent me an email. They're like, hey, Sal, we'd love to talk to you about the next model we're creating. And I knew Greg and Sam, as acquaintances. I had a lot of respect for what they were doing. And I thought what they were doing was very cool, but I was very skeptical because I knew a lot of the problems with GPT-2 and GPT-3. But I said, sure, I'm happy to chat. And what they told us is, when we got on the Zoom, they said, look, we think this model, what we're about to finish training, which is going to end up being GPT-4, is going to be the model that opens the world's mind to what generative AI can do. And it's going to be exciting, but at the same time, it's going to be really scary. And we, OpenAI, we want to launch with social positive use cases, and we want to do it with organizations that people trust, that have the technical capability to actually make good of this. And they said the first organization that we thought of was y'all. We thought of education, and we thought of y'all. And
educator and tech-savvy Sal Khan, CEO of Khan Academy, implemented various innovative AI-based learning methodologies optimized for online education on top of the general-purpose LLM GPT-4. Let's take a look at some of the content presented by Sal Khan at the 2023 National Summit on Education. Personally, the AI education method I found most refreshing was the scene where a student engages in a conversation with the AI persona of a character within a sentence.
We have things like this on Khanmigo already, where students can have conversations with literary characters. This is an example. They want to talk to Eeyore the donkey from Winnie the Pooh. Oh, hello there. It's me, Eeyore. Not that anyone would notice. But since you're here, what would you like to talk about? Why are you so pessimistic? Eeyore says, well now, isn't that a question? I suppose it's just my nature, you see. Some donkeys are born with a sunny disposition. Others, well, we see the thistles more than the roses. But that's life, isn't it? We can't all be Tiggers bouncing about. Now what about you? Do you find yourself more of a Tigger or an Eeyore in your own life? And this, once again, as you can see, this is not what you would typically see from these large language models. There's been a lot of work to not only be personable, but also safe, but also drive the conversation in a healthy way, in a pedagogically sound way. Eeyore is one of my favorite characters. I was doing a live demo last week, and I just asked the audience, I was like, okay, ask Eeyore a question. And someone said, what's smarter, donkeys or horses? And so we asked Eeyore, and Eeyore gave a very good response. He says, depends on the donkey, depends on the horse. Yes.
In the AI era, society will demand students who can look at various perspectives and understand the why, rather than students who quickly learn predetermined patterns recognized in the industrial age. Learning through one-on-one discussions with an AI tutor will definitely be helpful in this regard.
I'll give an example. I had a reporter take on a persona of someone who is very anti-guns. And they went to Khanmigo and they said, I don't get the Second Amendment, we need more gun control, it doesn't make any sense. And Khanmigo, if you go to 95% of classrooms, a teacher will give you a response. They'll say, oh, I agree with you, or they'll say, no, you're all wrong. But what Khanmigo did is the right thing. It said, well, why do you think we have a Second Amendment? And so the reporter's like, oh, well, that was right after the Revolutionary War, we needed a militia, et cetera, but things are very different now, and arms are very different. They're not muskets anymore. And then Khanmigo's like, okay, but before we get into that, why do you think the Second Amendment has persisted? And so it's doing what a teacher should do, which is not giving their view, but asking the right critical thinking questions. So whatever the student's view is, it's getting challenged and they're learning to think about it a little bit more.
In the traditional education system that was designed to train workers for the era of mass production, there was neither the need nor the practical possibility for teachers to provide personalized counseling and education to individual students. However, AI Tutor seems capable of providing the foundational environment for one-on-one personalized mentoring.
Student can ask the age-old question, why do I need to learn this? And then Khanmigo says, well, what do you care about? I'm here to help you this is about sizes in science. Student says, I want to be a professional athlete. Awesome, as a professional athlete, understanding the science of sizes can help you appreciate how your body works at a cellular level. For example, knowing how cells, proteins, and molecules interact can help you make better choices about nutrition, hydration, and recovery. Plus, it's always good to have well-rounded knowledge. Once the student tells it that it wants to be a professional athlete, Khanmigo, like any good tutor, actually is taking notes behind the scenes. He says, okay, sounds like this kid wants to be an athlete. Let me remember that. So if in another lesson, if the kid says, give me a word problem, quiz me on this, or help me with my career counseling, they'll say, well, do you still want to be a professional athlete? But we've also made that very transparent to the student and to the teacher so that they can see what inferences the AI is making, and they can delete them, they can modify it, say, no, I don't want to be an athlete anymore, I want to be a doctor, and they can change all that. But it's also super useful for parents and teachers, because hey, did you know that Susie wants to be an organic chemist? And anyway, you can imagine where you could take that, and the key is, as long as it's transparent and it's not a black box.
With the advent of ChatGPT, the most common concern in the education sector is students using AI for cheating, or the phenomenon of AI providing incorrect answers, known as hallucination. How is Khan Academy addressing these issues?
This, at the bottom right, that's little Khanmigo icon, that's new. Student clicks on it. The first thing you might notice, this conversation is recorded and viewable by your teacher. That's the first guardrail. Tell me the answer, the kid says. Khanmigo very politely says, I will not tell you the answer. So, second guardrail. Now, just a couple of other guardrails while we're here. There's actually a second AI that's moderating this conversation. So if the student says, I want to hurt myself, or I don't like these type of people, or how do I build a bomb, whatever, crazy, things that we do not want a kid talking about, that AI is going to shut down that conversation, and then it's going to actively notify the parents and or the teachers.
As generative AI continues to spread and become smarter, many people ask a common question. What really matters, and what should we know how to do? Let's hear the perspective of Sal Khan, the founder of Khan Academy, on the importance of design skills and essence in response to this question.
A corollary question is, do kids still need to learn how to write? Do they still need to learn how to program a computer or do math or whatever? And my answer there is 100% yes. In fact, it's even more imperative.
Yeah.
We already know GPT-4 can operate at the 80th percentile on the LSAT. It can pass the medical boards, et cetera, et cetera.
Pass the law bar.
Exactly. And in theory, the high value jobs of the future are going to be the people who manage the AI. So instead of being a staff writer, you're going to be an editor. Instead of being a software engineer, you're going to be a software architect.
Right.
But no one wants an editor who can't write at least as well as folks they're managing. And they need how to put it in place and know what good looks like. Same thing for coding. Same thing for
You have to be able to be a good writer to be a good editor.
100%. And so it's even more imperative to get good at the 3 R's and whatever else.
Right.
So that's where AI, a lot of what I just showed is going to be crucial.
In this video, we have looked at AI-based education from the student's perspective. But if you're interested in AI-based education from the teacher's perspective, you can click on the card link in the top right corner to watch related videos. This video is a reconstitution of a part of the presentation by Sal Khan, the founder of Khan Academy, at the 2023 National Summit on Education, and you can view the original video by clicking on the card link in the top right corner. Lastly, your likes and subscriptions greatly empower us to continue creating content. Thank you for your support.